Trying to.
أهلين. السلام عليكم. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. كيفك؟
Yeah, good man yourself. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Good. That's crazy. You can go live, man.
Alhamdulillah. You have to be online for me to go live.
Oh, okay. You can't. So, did you try like seeing it in your in the place where you post?
Yeah, at the bottom, yeah.
It didn't work.
No, it's got nothing there. But I checked online before. They said there's some other ways to do it. I'll check it out, inshallah.
No. I checked. I tried to look up how there's ways to do it. They like, I don't know if you can find something that works. That's great. But I'm pretty sure it's because you're in Turkey, bro. I'm pretty sure, like, because it's this is exactly the same way it happened too with the guy that I saw go live. Even though he didn't like have 1,000, he was like invited and he could accept, but maybe he couldn't start it on his own too.
They were, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, because Turkey has like different rules around like how they can like censor some stuff and stuff.
Yeah. Happens here a lot.
Yeah. When you go on Twitter, like, do you see the same kind of notifications that people in Turkey see? Or like this was withheld by your government or something?
No, I think it's in Twitter. Only happened a couple of times where they withheld us from sending stuff, and then it's been minimum, so it's not too bad. Like, it's been a long time since that happened.
Yeah, like I remember, like when I'm talking to Syrians on Twitter, some of them will tell me like, "Oh, I can't see that tweet," and sometimes it'll just be because it even has the word PKK or something.
Okay, no, I haven't noticed anything like that. So alhamdulillah, not for me anyway.
Maybe there is different networks then, because I don't know how much the integration between IDLIB and Turkey has gone on.
Yeah.
Are you at now? Are you just working or?
Yeah, I was just at work and chucked it on live. I was just listening to you guys. I'm just taking a quick break now.
How's my Arabic?
It's better than mine.
It is?
Yeah, man, I can speak Arabic, just normal street talk, but when it comes to actual bigger words or, being more, formal, nowhere near running into
terrible, man. I'm pretty sure I didn't understand half of what they were saying, but like I tried to assume it, and I might have assumed wrong. Like there's definitely we're talking past each other a lot of the time when I'm talking in Arabic. That's what I feel.
They did pretty good, man. They did pretty good.
Appreciate it, man. Syria is another world, bro. Like I remember, like when we were in, when the revolution was still happening, man. Like communicating with family, it's so difficult. You have to speak in different codes and stuff, I
was going to say when we first came here, it was very, you had to be very careful what you say and what you don't say, and who you speak to, who you don't speak to, and stuff like that. But alhamdulillah, a lot of it's calmed down. Where and I think that it needs to be more. I think we need to be more active a lot earlier. Where the Assad regime, all these little puppets and little team of Twitterers and stuff like that, they were active for us, and they got they spread a lot of misinformation to people.
So
we can hid, you know what I mean? So I guess
we've been asleep. We've been asleep, to be honest. Like I gave up when I found out about like Daesh and everything taking over, because I was like, okay, like we could only defend the revolution for so long, but now it looks like it's actually over, and I kind of gave up because I felt like before we could deny that it was an Islamic revolution, but once the news was just Daesh all the time, it was so difficult to stand for the revolution and say that like no, I promise it's secular. Like, oh god.
Yeah, I mean, enough. From speaking to a lot of people, especially on TikTok, it's mainly on TikTok, where I see like a lot of people just like, you're FSA, you're this, you're that, and it's just like it makes your head spin. You know what I mean? It's like you guys have no idea at all what's happening here, and who's secular, who's not secular, what's Islamic, what's jihadi. Like, I think people need to realise, like, after ISIS went, everything really changed. Like, even Al Qaeda's like, it's gone. You know what I mean? Like, those days are all gone. You know what I mean? Wise, you know what I mean? The only thing you have is, the strongest amount of ISIS you have is in regime areas. You know what I mean? When you come to, you might find an ISIS leader in northwestern Syria, but they're powerless and they're hiding. You know, there hasn't been any attacks. You know what I mean? You haven't heard of a car explosion or anything by them for like, you know, over years now, where the Assad regime, like, you know, every month you hear a new story.
In the south, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just, it's just a headache. Hear all this stuff.
And that's but the thing is, like, it's already left that impression in people's minds, and it's hard to reverse a lot of the damage done by the media, by the popular associations that have been made with Syrian rebels and with Daesh. Like, that's very hard to reverse. You know, it's not.
Yeah,
it's going to be done overnight. It's not going to be done by just me and you. It needs like so much work, bro. But like, you have the exact right attitude, man. We need to be more active because our enemies never sleep. You know.
Exactly what it is. I kind of put it to myself that, you know what I mean, I'll put it out there, you know what I mean, we just spread the information, you know, and eventually some people will follow, most of them probably won't, but, you know, we just keep doing what we're doing, and, I mean, we're not here to convert anyone, so.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it's just like, we just need to have the record out there, and hopefully, I think, in my opinion, people will eventually come to see us, because we're just new, you know. It's not that there's not an interest. People just haven't found us yet. Because I was actually really, really happy to see a vlogger in northwest Syria. To be honest, that's exactly what I think like should have been happening already. Like someone English speaking, just walking around explaining like life in the city and stuff like that. And I'm so glad like I found your channel, bro. I've recommended it to so many people.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, you've been a big help, brother. Yeah, I've got to say the same to you, man. I think something that gives me a lot of, I think motivates me is actually your channel. You know what I mean? Just watch a few of your videos, and I mean, I probably don't say it to you or nothing like that, but you know, when I watched the ISIS one, like, you know, when you talked about when ISIS bombed this area, and you know where the ISIS were, and where America bombed, and where Russia bombed, and all this type of stuff, I was like, that is a sick video, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's just. It's so simple and easy, but no one understands it. And so even, you know, I get most of my ideas come from you anyway. So
respect, man. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that like we can collaborate, hopefully, and continue like helping each other out, helping our platforms grow, and then maybe like as many activists as possible on the same platform, so that we can come like, so that we're not alone, you know, because if we're ever, you know, targeted or anything, all we have is our connections at that point. And like no one will speak for you except yourself. And it's just nice to know that like, we can still develop solidarity between each other, and the regime can't just keep us divided so that it can attack us as individuals. We're stronger together, and it's harder to take us down that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, regime areas, everyone, like, you know, they hold on to each other. And if you've probably seen yourself, you know what I mean? On the comment section, once one attacks you, they all come together. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they definitely have group chats. They definitely have like group chats where they just focus on like ratioing our posts and stuff.
Yeah, I really see that on Twitter. What's it called? I think as well, like you were just saying about vloggers and stuff like that, I think, you know, if it came a bit successful here, like what you just said before, like if we can push it, you know, get enough followers, you know what I mean, and, you know, have the right information going out, I think more people here, like more foreigners here as well, not just, you know, Syrians, but more foreigners as well, will start to feel more comfortable and, you know, be willing to do it as well, because I'm trying to push here a lot of brothers to do it, and yeah, the response is zero, you know what I mean? Or close to zero.
Do you have any updates about, like, any rumors of upcoming front or upcoming advance from either side?
To be honest with you, there is the rumor about the Aleppo thing, but you know what I mean? For years we've been hearing about Aleppo, and for years we've been hearing about the regime about, you know, going to make an advance on IDLIB, which has never happened, you know what I mean, either way. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's just, a lot of the time it's just a wait-and-see type of game, you know what I mean? I've seen people, you know, fleeing IDLIB, you know, maybe 1,000 times, you know what I mean, on just talk. You know what I mean? So, it's just a wait-and-see. Right now, all that happens is really, the Assad regime bombs the outskirts of Idlib. Okay, and this is on a daily basis. And then obviously the brothers from HTS will strike back or do some, little military operation that will take out a couple of Assad's forces, and that pretty much just happens on a daily basis.
Yeah, so even though they're the only ones fighting the regime, it always feels like it's just back and forth. It's not really any advances being made or anything like that,
Yeah, I think they just try and do scare tactics. To be honest with you, I think they're all just scare tactics.
And that's terrible because there's people dying, and it's just a game to these people. It's so annoying. Like, they both could decide to end it, I think they could at least plan for some kind of a big move, but you get the sense that everyone's just happy with the status quo, except like everyone with the power to change the status quo is just happy with the status quo.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's for sure.
Can you tell us what brought you to Syria, or just a little history of your life? Like, I'm very curious about people like locals who have been in Idlib for a while, but also people who are from outside the country. If you weren't born in Syria.
Yeah, it's definitely easy, man. That's not an issue at all, inshallah. To be honest with you, I used to go train at the gym early in the morning before I go to work back home, 2011 till about 2014. Pretty much used to watch on the news just what would happen in Syria. Most of it was American news, you know what I mean? You just see all the barrel bombs and stuff like that. And, it was very sad. And then I think in 2013, ISIS came out. And that was another thing, which no one really knew if they were good or bad at the time, you know what I mean? It was still too early to judge them. And then I just started seeing, I knew some people that went to Syria at the time, and I think one brother, the last brother I saw, he was an African-American who was a revert with his wife as well. She was a revert, and they went to Syria and they ended up getting killed by the FSA. And, I was completely confused about what was going on, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, and all that type of stuff. So I met a couple of people in Australia at the time, you know what I mean, and just, got to know what was going on and stuff like that. And, kind of just, thought to myself, I'm here having fun, having the best time of my life, and, there's people suffering, you know what I mean? Like, Syrian people, we're putting a nationality aside, you know what I mean? Because we understand Muslim people the most, you know what I mean, when you're a Muslim, obviously. And that basically no one cares about you. The care factor is basically zero when it comes to a Muslim life. You know what I mean? We saw what happened to Iraq and Afghanistan and all these places. So I've said, I'll come down, I'll try and do what I can do, help people out and whatever. I've got some things behind my back, I've done business management, done a couple of other things as well. I know a little bit of physio, stuff like that. A little bit of physio, you know what I mean? Nothing too major. Yeah, I came down, not by myself. I came down with others as well. We did what we did. Everyone obviously goes their own way, you know what I mean? Took their direction. And met a lot of nice people, lovely people, you know what I mean? From, other places as well, Britain and stuff like that. And, a lot of good humanitarian aid workers, a lot of people that put a lot of effort, gave up, family life, they left their wives home and children at home, and you know what I mean. We had one brother, he was helping out in humanitarian aid, and he was also a part of the humanitarian aid was they had a restaurant, you know what I mean. So all the profit from the restaurant would go to their project. Anyway, an ISIS member went in there and ended up blowing himself up in there. So. You know what I mean? We lost one beautiful brother there, so I guess it's a part of life here, but I mean, that's what kind of made me push even more, you know what I mean? Because, no matter which direction you come from, everyone's against you. Like, you're swimming against the tide here, you know what I mean? So you got the media, you got ISIS, you got whatever you can think of, you know what I mean? So, the more that comes at me, I'm a fighter in that sense, you know what I mean? You say I can't do something, I want to do it even more, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Egyptian stubbornness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever live in Egypt?
No, I went there for 3 months before I came to Syria.
Okay.
Yeah. Just went there, met family that I've never met before and stuff like that. Chilled out with them for a bit. Learnt a little bit of Arabic and dove into here.
How old were you when you went to Syria?
What was I? 32.
Oh wow. Oh, you don't look a day over 30 right now. How old are you now?
You haven't seen me up close, bro. 40. Well, I turned 40 this year.
Okay, mashallah. Hayakallah, bro.
Life was it, bro. So yeah. What about you? How old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, you're a baby.
Yeah. Feels like it too. I still feel like I'm 18, man. I still feel like I graduated yesterday, like high school.
Yeah.
Especially the pandemic. I feel like it took 3 years off my life.
Yeah.
But like 1 year, but about 3 years combined. You know. Sorry, go.
Yeah. No, I was just going to ask you about you, like, you know, since I told you my story, might as well hear your story. Like, you know, were you born in Syria or did you move? Or what's the story?
Yeah. So I was born in Damascus in Syria, and Mawlid, 97 بالضبط. And my parents had already like begun immigration process before I was born. So they had like my two sisters before I was born. Like they were born in 93 and 94. And my dad got no, he started the citizenship process, I think, in 95. Oh no. Okay, he started it in 90, and then we got citizenship in 95. Then I was born in 97, but we were in Syria. So I was born in Syria, but I was already like my dad already had citizenship. So Canada gives you naturalized citizenship even if you're born outside the country if your dad is Canadian, right? So alhamdulillah, like when I was like we stayed in Syria for 2 more years, and then my dad got a job in Saudi, where we lived in Jeddah for a year, and he came back to Syria for a year, and he just couldn't really like find a stability. He found there was just so much corruption, and everyone is like really corrupt, and snakes everywhere and everything. So he's just like yeah, Syria is not going anywhere, and even like he didn't find Saudi much better either, and so he just said like I think I'm making it official. I think I'm like gonna actually like just move to Canada, and he left us for a couple of years to kind of get it ready. And I was still like 5. I didn't know any of this stuff, what was happening or anything. One day I wake up and he's just like, go hug and kiss your grandma. You're never gonna see her again. And I'm just like, what? And so yeah, I say goodbye to her, and we go to Montreal. We lived there for a year in 2002, and then came to Ottawa, and we've been living here ever since. And when the revolution started, my dad, like our parents, just took us out to protests, and my sister became really like involved. I was still 13, so I didn't really understand that much of it. But my sister she was in university, and she started like a Syria group and stuff, and she was like really active, like holding protests that we would attend and stuff. And I still have like a lot of flags actually from that time. So, and there's even a regime flag from before it was bad to fly it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we just grew up like kind of. We saw Iraq. We saw what happened in Iraq. We saw what happened in Lebanon, and we never thought it would happen to our country. I remember meeting, like, I would meet like Lebanese people in Canada all the time. I would meet Iraqi people all the time. I would never meet Syrians, and nobody knew what Syria was. Everyone knew what Lebanon was. Everyone knew what Iraq was.
Yeah, that's true, man.
But then after 2011, we got put on the map in the worst way possible, man. Everyone knew what Syria was suddenly.
Yeah, exactly. Good story, man.